Hey there. Over the past year or so, there has been a seismic shift in Washington, D.C.'s attitude towards China. Donald Trump has led the charge on this, of course, but unlike most of his lunacy, everybody from the Democratic Party to big business is on board with the turn against China. My instinct is that this is a bad thing, but I need to do a lot more reading before I can speak to this directly. Also, I'm just kind of sick of bad news, so for today at least, I'd like to focus on the silver lining of this change in US-China relations. Mexico is about to have a really good decade. In 1994, Mexico, the United States, and Canada joined together in the North American Free Trade Agreement. Hopes were extraordinarily high. This was finally going to be the economic big bang that Mexico needed. Growth would accelerate, and poverty would quickly fade away. That's not what ended up happening. 25 years later, growth has been steady, but honestly not all that impressive. It's not that NAFTA did nothing. In fact, it did quite a lot. There was a flood of consumer goods from the north. The US economy has benefited a lot more than Mexico's has. Free trade forced the country through a painful transformation. Mexican standards of production were driven up to US levels, and many industries were fully integrated with US and European companies. But at the same time, competition with US agriculture destroyed many small farms, helping to drive the wave of undocumented immigration to the United States that took place around the turn of the last century. Many economists had expected some of this creative destruction, but there seemed to be very little profit to go with the pain. The reason behind this was simple. Mexico's cheap labor was supposed to make all the suffering worthwhile. US businesses were supposed to flood in to take advantage. Many did, but many more went to China. In 2001, China formally joined the World Trade Organization. After struggling for 7 years to transform its economy, Mexico was ready for the promised tidal wave of investment. Instead, all that money and all those jobs started flowing to China instead. Since the beginning of NAFTA in 1994, Mexican GDP has doubled. China's has gone up by a factor of 10. Basically, China stole the economic miracle that Mexico was promised. China ended up doing so well that its labor actually isn't that much cheaper than Mexico's anymore, once you factor in transportation, fuel costs, and some other risks. Mexico was already chipping away at China's business, but this whole Trump trade war thing opens up a whole new era. NAFTA, even the slightly modified version that Trump is pushing, is likely to finally start delivering on its 25-year-old promises. The consensus in the United States has now turned firmly against China. Sadly, it now seems clear that the rhetoric will get more civilized with the next president, but the policy won't change much. Capitalism with Chinese characteristics is a very weird, arbitrary system. US business and government was happy to overlook this when they were getting cheap components and paying pennies for labor. But now the labor isn't so cheap, and Chinese businesses are actual competitors now. China's system will have to go through massive, painful changes before it conforms to the standards of international trade law. Mexico has already made all those changes. Once we are past Trump's insanity, the United States is going to be looking for ways to work with other free market economies against China. Thanks to NAFTA, Mexico is now very much a free market economy. Even Trump seems to be backing off on Canada and Mexico. There will be plenty of countries clamoring to get a slice of all that US business that will be shifting out of China, but none of them are as well positioned as Mexico is. Mexico is about to have a very good decade. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you want a free essay on another issue that is challenging Mexico, you can click on the link here to sign up for my email list. Thanks.